Greetings and welcome to the Static Screen Podcast, your sometimes once a month podcast about movies and TV. Yeah, we've been pretty poor at getting episodes up, but myself and James have been busy, or our schedules haven't aligned so that the two of us could record. But anyways, I'm your host, Lord X, and joining me today is ECW... Wait, no, it's Israel Pacheco, 89.
Call me NXT Izzy or something. I don't know. He's ECW. NXT. NXT. What's up, man?
Not much. Just chilling out, relaxing. How about yourself?
It's good to be on this show. I haven't been on this show in a while. In a really long time. But I still enjoy talking about movies and TV shows and stuff. So
we got a list of topics a mile wide today.
Yeah, a lot to talk about.
Yeah, and like a lot of people, you may notice now that the show is kind of different. You're not seeing like channels select on the side. There's a new background and everything. That's because we're taking a new approach to this show. As I was talking to Izzy about just before we started recording, because he just found out, as soon as you did, that the show's going to be a little bit more relaxed. We're still going to talk about what we've been watching first off, and then we're going to dive into a whole bunch of topics of discussion instead of just, here's 4 news stories and we're going to talk about them. So expect more ranting, kind of like how myself and James talk on a normal basis on this show. It's just that's going to be the normal format now instead of a bit more organized. So, without further ado, let's sit back, relax, and talk. Don't worry, the botching is still here. The train's going right off the tracks. We're going to talk about what we've been watching since the last time we recorded this episode. Now, Izzy, I know you haven't been on here for months, so don't worry. Don't have to talk about
I'm just talking. I'm just going to talk about maybe the last week to 2 weeks of what I've been watching, so it's not going to be like 6 months. I went to see Ant-Man and Jurassic World. Let me kick it off with the first thing I've been watching, which it's also on your list, and a lot of people's lists because of the day that just passed, and that was Back to the Future Day, which was about what was it, like a week and a half ago, something like that, right?
October 21st.
Okay, so about almost 2 weeks at this point. Mm-hmm. I sat down, not on the day of, which is pretty funny. I think it was about a day or two after, and decided to watch the original Back to the Future on Blu-ray. Mm-hmm. Still a great film, still super fun, still kind of strange with the whole dynamic with Marty and his mom. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's still very enjoyable.
For a 30-year-old movie, it holds up incredibly well.
It really does, to be honest, when you put it in that light, that it's 30 years old at this point. Still, all the characters are very memorable. Doc Brown, Marty McFly, the McFly parents, Biff. It's a really great movie. I've always enjoyed the movies. I saw them at a really early age, a really young age, I should say, because my dad was a fan of those movies. I still remember going to Universal here in Orlando back when the ride was still open, and that was one of my favorite rides at Universal, the Back to the Future ride, which is a travesty that they took it down. Mm-hmm. They put The Simpsons in its place, which admittedly it's a fun ride too, but it doesn't give you the same feeling that Back to the Future did. I remember going in there and just seeing the DeLorean sitting outside the ride, and then just getting in a DeLorean, and then that giant movie screen. And I don't know if you ever got a chance to do that.
Nope.
Oh man, that sucks, because it was such a memorable experience, especially being a fan of this franchise. It was so cool. I remember going my grandfather. I'm going on a complete tangent right now, but
that's this podcast.
I remember going. It was me, my mom, my dad, my grandfather, and we all got in there. We all had it was super fun for all of us. Like I just remember that like it was probably like in '95 I want to say. So it was nearly 20 years ago, but it was so memorable. But yeah, fantastic movie. The soundtrack is really good, and I guess to tie into this, I watched the documentary that's on Netflix called Back in Time, which is about the Back to the Future franchise, mainly the original film, but they do talk about 2 and 3. And they have Michael J. Fox on there, right? They have like Bob Zemeckis. So they have like Leah Thompson. Like they have like mostly all the actors from the films giving interviews about it, and then the directors and the producers and people like, higher up in Hollywood talking about the script. They even have Steven Spielberg on there. He's talking about Back to the Future. So I don't know if you've watched this yet, but it's a really good documentary, and they go into like the fandom of it and all the people who buy DeLoreans and then build their own time machines. Like it's really, really cool. Like it makes me want to buy a DeLorean. I actually was looking it up, but it's pretty expensive to get one, like, all built and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's hard to come by because I think they only made, it wasn't that many. I don't remember the amount, but they said it in the documentary how many were produced, and then the company went out of business. So they're kind of hard to come by, but
Yeah, I really need to watch that. I saw it on Netflix last night, actually, while I was scanning through the new stuff. So it's on my radar. I plan on watching it very soon.
Yeah. It's really good. I really, really enjoyed it. Like, it's really well made. Like, I thought it was just going to be, like, some random, like, sometimes they do these documentaries and they're not really official, so they don't even use the footage of the movie. They don't get, like, the cast or anything. It's just, like, a bunch of fans. But they have clips from the movie. They have the directors and the cast, and it's just really well made. It's really cool that they released it.
Cool.
Right around the time of the anniversary.
Yeah, like you were saying, I also watched the first one as well, but like yourself, I actually went and saw it in the theater.
Cool.
Yeah, the Sunday after October 21st, October 25th, my theater, one of many, actually did the Back to the Future marathon. They played all 3 movies back to back to back. So
nice.
For that Sunday, for about, roughly a little over 7 hours, I was sat down in a theater just watching Back to the Future movies, and man, you are not, like I was saying earlier, the first one holds up, and so does the other 2, to be honest with you. I know the second one gets a lot of flack sometimes, and a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it's great. I enjoy that movie so much. And I enjoy the third one quite a lot as well. Next to the part 1, I think part 3 is probably, the second best of the 3. Because they went back to a more grounded story. And unlike the first 2, part 3 is a Doc Brown story. Like, you finally move away from Marty and you get a story about Doc Brown and what he's going through. Like, he was the central character in that third part. And just the way they did it with, like, the Old West back in 1885 and the troubles that they went through there to get the DeLorean up to 88 miles per hour. Like, it wasn't the getting the, oh my gosh.
Plutonium?
Yeah, the plutonium. That wasn't the issue this time around. This time around it was because the fuel line broke and they had no gasoline to get. So just little changes like that made it fun. And the storyline was fun and really heartwarming. And yeah, all 3 of those movies, I love them so much. And finally get to see them in a theater screen. In a packed theater. It was sold out for all 3 showings, which was amazing. Just to be surrounded by fans of the series was really cool. And to see, like, older people bringing their kids to see it for the first time was really fun. The first movie alone, so many people were laughing. It's one of the funniest movies out there as well.
Yeah, no, and like you said, it holds up. Like, it even translates to today's audience. Like, the jokes are still good, still funny. It's kind of timeless, which is kind of the point of the movie. But, I need to rewatch 2 and 3.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I really liked two, like
Mm-hmm.
out of the trilogy, which is kind of strange because I know most people, like you said, dislike that one.
Yeah.
Just I guess because of the time traveling aspects
Mm-hmm.
and going back to the original movie, and also the ride, which back in the day was sort of like Back to the Future too, because the ride, if I'm not mistaken, had the whole premise was that you had to chase Biff down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like two in a way, because that was kind of like the premise that you got it. He got the almanac and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, great trilogy.
Mm-hmm. One more thing I will mention though, before they started playing Back to the Future Part 2, they had a few trailers at the beginning of it.
Yeah,
Most of it was just promoting like the art book that's out and the new movie collection that they put out. But they also had a trailer for hoverboards, which somebody jokingly put together. They had the trailer with that Universal did with Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown again, talking to the audience, saying that
yeah,
2015 is finally here. That one, and they also, God bless them, played the Jaws 19 teaser trailer, which
that's funny.
had everybody in stitches.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool that they put that all into the like experience, the Back to the Future experience.
Yep.
And I would kill for them to reopen that ride at Universal. Man, I loved that ride when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, moving forward, let's see what's the next thing here on my list. That is the Goosebumps movie.
Oh,
Um,
I'm interested to hear what you got to say about this one.
it was good. Like I went into it, with low expectations, like
Yeah.
as usual with all these like it's not really remakes, more of a reimagining of the Goosebumps story. It kind of takes everything from the Goosebumps books and the TV series and puts it into a film, and it's done really clever.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jack Black, he essentially plays R.L. Stein, and he has these manuscripts in his home that are all locked up. And essentially, if one of them gets open, it brings whatever the story is about to life. Like it'll bring, like in the trailer, you saw that there was the abominable snowman.
Yeah.
So then it does that for all the different characters in the Goosebumps universe, and it's really fun. Like I enjoyed it. I took my little brother and my sister, who they don't have any attachments to Goosebumps because my little brother wasn't born and my sister was very young and she was born in like the late 90s. So by then Goosebumps was already a thing I had passed by.
Mm-hmm.
And as a kid, I read some of the books. I enjoyed the TV series, so I kind of freshened them up by showing my little brother like the Watch Mojo like top 10 Goosebumps episode or whatever, and then the trailer for the movie. He's like, oh, okay, we'll check it out. So, and we all enjoyed it. It's a fun movie. It's don't go into it expecting it like I guess it's all about expectations really. Um, I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. I wasn't really cynical about it or anything. I thought it was unique what they did with the story and how it was told and all that. There's some twists and turns, which are really cool. I think the cast did a fine job. It's a funny movie too. It's cheesy, like in a B movie cheesiness, but it's a good cheesiness. Like it isn't Transformers like the Michael Bay movies, like those were cheesy and cheesy in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
Although I still enjoy the original movie's not that bad to be honest, but the sequels I don't know, especially two was ugh. But Goosebumps was fun. I definitely say if you grew up in the 90s, check it out because it's a cool nostalgia trip. Definitely check it out when it hits like rental services or Netflix or Hulu. Well, Hulu's doing movies now, but Amazon Prime, all those services. But it's a fun movie.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it.
Cool. That's really good to hear because I was expecting that movie to flop big time.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna do terrible, but I enjoyed it. Like It's a fun movie. It like brings you back to. It brought me back to like the '90s when I was a little kid, like
Hmm.
that the monsters and all that stuff, and it's just very enjoyable. Like it's just one of those movies you just watch and like tune out, and you get taken to this other world, and you have fun with it.
Cool, cool. The next one on my list, I'll finish off with the last movie that I saw, and that was Attack on Titan Part 2, the live-action adaptation of the manga slash anime. Now, on the last episode, I believe of Static Screen, I talked about Part 1, and, I was easy onto it. Yes, they swerved quite a bit away from the original source material,
Hmm.
but I thought it was okay. The visuals were stunning and amazing. And the same thing kind of goes for this one. I mean, the visuals, again, really impressive, especially with the Titans and that. Really, really well done. On the flip side of that, okay, here's the best way to describe it. Part 1, they kind of, went off the road. They were on the sidewalk driving. For this one, they swerved right off into the ditch and went off the other way, because, man, it was bad. And I saw the effects of Part 1, too, because compared to the amount of people in the theater, it was kind of empty for Part 2. But yeah, the way they went with the story and the way they told things, like, I was sat there laughing half the time because I was like, this is so bad. Like, I mean, forget about Hollywood ruining shit. Nobody can make a great property out of something, from an anime or cartoon and whatnot, because they fell into the same things. The acting was okay, but yeah, the way they went with the story and the way they told things, some things did not make any sense at all. I kind of liked the final visual of the movie. It was different than what we've seen from the anime so far. But overall, yeah, it was pretty pathetic, to be quite honest with you. I would not recommend this one at all. If you're a fan of the series, probably do yourself a favor and avoid this movie if you can. If you really want to see it, sure, it's worth it, I guess, for the visuals alone, but it's not good. It's not good at all. Part 1 was passable, but yeah, I cannot give a recommendation to this one.
Yeah, it seems like Hollywood still hasn't found that balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of maybe reimagining something, but at least being, good, or just doing a great job of doing their,
Yeah. I mean, this was
like an
in Hollywood.
adaptation. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
this was like done,
In Japan.
in Japan, but I guess their version of Hollywood essentially.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I can't think of anything. Uh, yeah, and anything at all that's been like a good adaptation. I heard what was that Matt Damon movie? Um,
Um,
was it Matt Damon or was it Tom? No, it was Tom Cruise. What am I thinking? Matt Damon. Edge of Tomorrow, which was based
oh, yeah.
off a manga, if I'm not mistaken, which I actually heard was pretty damn good, which I haven't seen,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, Age of
I
Tomorrow is what you're
yeah,
thinking of. That movie was really good.
most people don't know it's based on a manga, so it kind of like shot him in the foot. But we still
Mm-hmm.
been waiting on the Akira adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the hell happened with the Death Note adaptation that they were gonna do. Ghost in the Shell is still like in development hell.
Yeah.
I know Spielberg at one point wanted to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just, for whatever reason, never came to light. The Dragon Ball movie, I still haven't watched it. I refuse to watch it. I heard it's terrible, the live action one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's like they're still trying. They're still trying. it's like the early superhero movies.
Yeah.
Like, but they still can't seem to get it, which it's sad, you know.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah.
So yeah, move into, excuse me, the last thing that I got here, and that is the latest season of South Park, which I'm up
Oh,
to
yeah.
date.
I forgot to put that on my list. I watched that too, actually.
Hulu finally has an option in their services for you to have no commercials. It's a little bit more money. I believe it's like $4 or something like that more. $4 to $5, but I do not mind. I don't want the damn commercials. So yeah, I just like marathon probably like the first 4 to 5 episodes, and then last week I watched the latest one, and it's been hilarious. Like I love how all the episodes are interconnected, which they've been doing the last few seasons.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a continuation. I love all the like jabs at all the political correctness. Like it's so funny. Like it's crazy that this series, I think in the next 2 years, I think 97, I want to say 98 is when it first premiered, the original season of South Park.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost 20 years and they're still cranking out, hilarious stuff that's, up to date, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just really good. It's really funny. I don't want to get into any of the details
Mm.
because you got to watch the season. I don't
Yep.
want to spoil anything. The last episode, like, I was dying with Cartman and his little distraction, I should say. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
spoil what it is, but that was so. And then the ending, I was like, oh my god, it's so funny. But it's a really funny season. It's been so funny. I actually want to dive into South Park: The Stick of Truth, which I need to dive into. I was talking to my
Yes.
friend about it. They were like, dude, you still haven't played it. I'm like, yes, I know. I need to play it. So I got it. I downloaded it on Steam. I got it ready to go. So
Good.
probably within the next few weeks, hopefully, if I don't get distracted. Maybe it'll be the game that I know this isn't the gaming podcast, but that'll get me over the lull that I'm going through in gaming right now. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Nothing else that I can think of. Probably, I know within the next few weeks. Wait, I think it's this week. The new James Bond movie's out.
Yeah, this
I'm,
weekend.
I'm definitely gonna go see that. It all depends, I guess, timing for the PlayStation event or whatever happens on the same day the movie's released. So maybe I'll go the next day. But yeah, that's it for me.
Cool. I do have a few more things on mine. Since we last recorded this podcast, I finished up season 3 of Orange is the New Black. Really good. The ending kind of annoyed me because they didn't really wrap up a few things, left it open-ended. So, yeah, season 4, can't wait. I've been caught up now on The Walking Dead season 6, I think this is.
Hmm.
Has been really good so far. I mean, really, really good. Arrow and The Flash have been incredible this season, especially the last episode of The Flash, which by the time this podcast goes up, there's another one out, but the one before that was amazing. The last minute of that episode, they used a character I thought they would never use. And I'm sure if you've listened to Fat Man on Batman, the recent episode.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that character. And they did him amazingly well, too. Like, it was astonishing. And, well, fuck it. Screw it. Spoilers here. They used King Shark. King fucking Shark, which is a dude that is... It's a shark man type deal. I'll throw up a picture on the screen if I remember to do it. But the way they did him, the CGI on that looked amazing. And they said it afterwards, they couldn't afford to do a full episode using him because it would have been too expensive.
Hmm.
But man, they got their money's worth out of the time that they did use him because, wow. And it's amazing to look at a show like The Flash, and we got Gorilla Grodd last season. This season they've used King Shark. And then we look over on the movie sides of things, as I was talking with James when they did this last week. It's like, TV show, We got King Shark, fully CGI, movie quality CGI, might I add. Then you look at Suicide Squad. Killer Croc is a guy in a rubber mask, essentially. It's like, what are DC doing?
Actually, I'm watching the clip right now, and actually, it does look really good for TV. Shit.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really well done.
It's actually incredible. But yeah, it's like, I don't know where Warner Brothers has their priorities to, because the TV stuff is just so damn good right now. And the last thing on my list, last night I dove into and watched the first 4 episodes of Narcos.
Nice.
The Netflix series on Pablo Escobar, and wow, that is really good.
Yeah, man, it's really well done.
Yeah, like I said, I'm only 4 episodes in so far, but I am enjoying the hell out of this episode, or this series. Like, Netflix can do no wrong. I swear, they can do no wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Except for House of Cards. I couldn't get into that.
I haven't watched many of the Netflix shows. I've seen like Daredevil and Narcos, and which is funny because those are some of the highest rated ones. Yeah. I guess it's whatever interests me, and they end up being really good. So.
And we got Jessica Jones coming up on November the 20th.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So soon. Did you watch the trailer for that?
No, I haven't watched the trailer. Oh, I heard it was really good.
Yeah, after this podcast, you have to go watch that trailer. It is incredible. All doubt in my mind got washed away as soon as I saw that trailer. They are doing Jessica Jones. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for the been watching section. So now it's time to move into our topics of discussion for this week, where we are going to relax and shoot the shit about a whole bunch of news stories that popped out here. We probably won't go into detail about every one of them, but we're going to rant and rave probably about a few of these. And the first one that we have on the list here is that Marvel and Fox are teaming up. But no, the mutants aren't coming to the MCU. Instead, Marvel is basically allowing Fox to create 2 X-Men TV series. Those being Hellfire, focusing on the Hellfire Club in the 1960s, and Legion. So yeah, this is kind of cool though. We're going to get 2 X-Men type series on TV.
I wish they were on Netflix. That's my first thought. But I've heard good things. Like you've told me good things about S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That is not not the cop show.
Yeah.
Or the wrestling faction.
That was another thing in the been watching section we could have talked about. Hell in a Cell.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good overall. But we'll see how they turn out. I like the X-Men. The first thing I thought of was the animated series when you brought that up. But yeah, I've always really enjoyed the X-Men. I've enjoyed some of the X-Men movies. 1, 2, First Class, Days of Future Past. The second Wolverine one, not the first one. Third one was... But yeah, X-Men has I guess since I saw that animated series at an early age, I've always been fond of the X-Men characters. Same thing with like Spider-Man and Batman. All those animated series were around the same time in the early to mid-90s. So it's cool. I'd like to see these characters on the TV screen and for them to have, like a drawn-out storyline. It doesn't have to depend on movie sequels, right? Like they could do seasons. But we'll see. I guess it all depends on the quality of the product once it's released.
Yeah, maybe we'll get some Gotham level quality coming on here.
Oh, come on.
Season 2 has been better. A lot.
I heard it was better. But it's still confusing to me that they're doing all these characters and Batman's like, Yeah, what's confusing to me about Gotham is how they're bringing all these casts of characters from the Batman universe into Gotham, but Batman's still like not even like a teenager, right?
Yeah.
Like he's a child, so all these characters are going to be around for like the next like 10 to 15 years. Like
Hmm.
it's just really weird in terms of the timeline. I don't know. That's why I still haven't watched it. It hasn't been really, and as a Batman fan, like it just pisses me off. Now I'm gonna go into rant, but like it's still that Daredevil was so fantastic. That should have been a Batman show.
Hmm.
Like, jeez, rant over. But
Yeah, but yeah, this Hellfire and Legion stuff does sound pretty cool. Just a bit of the description here. Hellfire is set in the 1960s. The potential series centers on the Hellfire Club and a young special agent who learns that a power-hungry woman with extraordinary abilities is working with a clandestine society of millionaires to take over the world. The second Marvel TV project is being made for the FX network and is called Legion, a name that X-Men fans will recognize as the alter ego of Charles Xavier's son, David Haller. The pilot introduces the story of Haller. Since he was a teenager, David struggled with mental illness. Diagnosed with schizophrenia, David has been sent in and out of psychiatric hospitals for years. And I can't read. But after a strange encounter with a fellow patient, he's confronted with the possibility that the voices he hears and the visions he sees might be real. So that sounds like a mindfuck of a show if I've ever heard one.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see how they turn out. I hope they turn out well. But it looks like they're using some of the more not the more prominent X-Men characters, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not like Cyclops, Wolverine, Storm. It's more of the how would you call it? Like the B team, I guess.
Hmm.
Maybe they're just holding that for the movies,
Yeah.
like the like Wolverine and all that. I know they're making another. They're doing one more Wolverine movie, is it?
Yep.
After the upcoming X-Men one, so
Hmm.
we'll see how it turns out. I don't know. If a show's not on Netflix, like it's been pulled off by from what you've told me, like on Flash and Arrow,
Hmm.
on the CW, right? Those shows are on there. I've heard good things about Supergirl, which is surprising.
Yep.
But those are DC properties, so this is different with Marvel, but Marvel's been doing well in the movie space, really well in the movie space. So
Hmm.
hopefully they transition well with these characters and they find an audience for them. I just hope that it doesn't become overwhelming for us nerds to be watching all these shows.
Oh.
Like there's Gotham, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Flash, Arrow, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, like these X-Men shows,
Legends of Tomorrow.
yeah,
Agent Carter.
exactly. Like at one point, does it become like sensory overload? Like there's just too much. That's another reason why I don't watch all the shows because I'll just stick to the like Daredevil. Like I really enjoy Daredevil. I can't even talk. Daredevil, so I'll stick to that, right?
Hmm.
And I'm looking forward to season 2. I'll probably check out. No, I will check out Jessica Jones because it's on Netflix. Looking forward to that. Even if I'm not really familiar with the character, like I knew Daredevil probably more than Jessica Jones because of like the Spider-Man animated series
Hmm.
back in the day. So doesn't know what the hell is my brother screaming in the background for. He probably saw a roach or something. Anyway, I guess we can move into the next
Yeah.
discussion piece here.
Yeah. Why don't you tell the folks about this one?
So yeah, this has been, circulating the internet for a while now, but now we got more like
It's confirmed.
confirmed information, and that is Legendary and Warner Brothers is partnering up, and they are uniting their Godzilla and King Kong franchises to some extent in the future. Kong Skull Island is coming out in 2017, which It isn't that too far away. It's only 2 years
Yeah.
away. Then Godzilla 2 the following year. Then 2 years after that, there's going to be Godzilla versus Kong, which I'm interested to see how they're going to pull off because there's definitely a size difference between Kong and
Yeah.
Godzilla.
Yeah,
So
this isn't like the old 1950s where they were
they're
roughly the same size.
they're in suits.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, there's a different. I'm interested to see how it turns out. Like,
Mhm.
I wasn't a big fan of the Godzilla, the latest movie. There was some good stuff in it. Like, I thought the design of Godzilla was, very well done. Like, it paid homage to the old school Godzilla. It wasn't like the '98 film. Um, some of the character stuff kind of threw me off, but the fight scenes were fun. Um, there was good stuff, but it just didn't hit on all cylinders for me personally. But it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It was kind of middle of the road for me. Um, I'm a big fan of King Kong for some reason. That movie's always resonated with me. The original King Kong that they used as stop motion.
Mhm.
Then I want to say, was it 1970s King Kong? Was it?
I think so.
Yeah, King
I can't
Kong
remember.
with Jeff Bridges. Yeah, that was in the 70s. And then we saw the King Kong most recently, the Peter Jackson one, which I enjoy all the movies for different reasons.
Mhm.
Like they're not all like they're very different, especially since there's such big gaps in between them, like 1933 to 1976 to 2005. That's huge. Those are
Mhm.
huge gaps in between. So
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed those movies. So I'm looking forward to see what they do with Skull Island, which I've been keeping my eye on for a while, but it was like kind of like in a development hell for a while. They're also opening a ride at Universal, which I found out
Oh.
recently, based on Skull Island. So I don't know if it should continue on because I guess this partnership, we'll see how it works on. But Kong Skull Island. Looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to see what they do with Godzilla 2. Godzilla versus Kong has me intrigued, but there's some logistical
Yeah.
problems between size. I don't know if they're gonna do like some time
Unless,
travel or I don't know exactly what, but
yeah, or Kong is incredibly massive this time around.
yeah, which yeah, that'll be strange. I don't know if he gets like falls into like a radioactive pit or like I don't know what the hell's gonna happen, but he goes Super Saiyan. I don't know what the hell. Uh,
Yeah. I also find it funny that like everybody needs a united universe now. Like Marvel did it first. They're doing it better than anybody else is doing it. But everybody's throwing in like, okay, we have Godzilla. Okay, King Kong. Okay, we did it before. We can unite them again. That's our shared universe. This is what we're going to go with. And DC's starting up their one now.
mhm.
Hopefully that one ends up being good. There was the talks before about 21 Jump Street and Men in Black, which was kind
Yeah,
of
that
weird.
was really weird.
So there's a lot of these, like, let's build a universe now. And, I don't know, it works sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't.
I guess we'll see. We'll see how it works. I enjoy the Kong movies, so I'm
Hmm.
excited for it either way,
Yeah,
just to see at least the Kong aspect of it.
yeah. And on the flip side, I really love the Godzilla reboot, so I
Mhm.
am looking forward to seeing more of that
Yeah.
universe, to be quite
I
honest.
gotta watch it again to be honest, because I think I've watched it maybe once or twice. But I don't. Sometimes you watch movies they don't click with you on the first or second viewing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I guess we can move into the next topic of discussion.
Yeah, and that's Robert Zemeckis has said that there are no Back to the Future stories left to tell, so no remake or reboot or sequel coming. Thank God. Like, if there's
That's
any
good.
if there's
Yeah,
any property that
it's
doesn't
awesome.
need any more to it, it's Back to the Future. Like we were talking about earlier, it's a solid franchise. It works, and yeah, it's great that they don't want to do it. They don't like the idea of doing anything with it. And if you really want a Back to the Future Part 4, go play the game by Telltale. That was essentially Back to the Future 4, and it wasn't that great.
Yeah, I heard it wasn't very good. I played like I think the first episode, but it was boring. I think Telltale was still trying to figure out
Yeah.
their format, you know.
hmm I kind of want to pick it up again because they did put a platinum trophy into it now, so
Oh, that's not too bad.
yeah. But yeah, it's great that they don't want to do any more Back to the Future stuff. I say applause to them. Most people will be like, oh yeah, let's milk this franchise. Well, they're still going like, no, we're not ruining it by adding something else to it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's cool. That's great. He actually says that in the documentary too. Like the one we were talking about earlier, he says it like not until he's pretty much dead,
hmm
unless his kids make some sort of deal after he's gone for a remake or whatever. But as long as he's alive, it's not happening.
I believe I remember hearing him before saying that he's trying to get something in his will about that as well.
Hmm.
So, like, probably something like the Robin Williams thing where he can't use any, like, promotional stuff for 100 years after death.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean as promotional stuff? Like,
You know how they'll just toss, like, dead celebrities into things using CGI? That sort of deal?
oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Robin Williams had that kind of deal in his will. So that's why you won't see him
Interesting.
pop up anywhere selling vacuum cleaners at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, yeah, good for him. Unfortunately, he's not with us anymore, but
hmm let's bring up the mood again because the next topic we have here is an awesome one, and that's
yeah.
Mark Ruffalo's Hulk is going to appear in Thor 3. That's right, a cosmic space buddy adventure between Thor and the Hulk, apparently.
Yeah, oh, I don't think we know like the full details of like his appearance.
hmm
You know, we'll see if it's some sort of fight scene or something like that. Um, but it's cool.
Yeah, let's see here. I thought Ruffalo had something up on comicbookmovie.com. I'll check that out, but I like this idea. I mean, we're going to have Civil War coming up next year, and a lot of people are like going, well, why isn't Thor involved? Or why isn't Hulk going to be there? Which I think they originally planned for Hulk to be in the movie in some aspect, but they scrapped it.
Yeah.
But now it makes sense, you know? It's like they're not in Civil War because they're actually off planet in Asgard or one of the other 9 realms.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, and I think this opens up to the fact that, you know, I really enjoyed the 2 Thor movies. I thought they were really well done. They're really
Hmm.
good movies. But a lot of people really don't like them and think they're the weakest of the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
So bringing in Hulk, who was essentially everybody's favorite part of the Avengers and had a lot of great stuff in Avengers Age of Ultron, to bring him in, that might give the Thor movie, Thor Ragnarok, a much needed boost for people. Like, give them a reason to go see it.
Yeah, I think it's cool that they're bringing the Hulk into this. It'll be interesting, like you said, if he's in Asgard or
Mm-hmm.
if I don't know if they're gonna do something with like the Planet Hulk. Like I don't know. We'll see what they do exactly.
Yeah, this could lead up to maybe some kind of Planet Hulk type deal. Maybe
Yeah.
he's like tossed onto another planet by Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what Mark Ruffalo had to say about Thor Ragnarok. I don't know what the story is yet, but it'll be Loki and Thor, and then I'll be in there, here and there. But I don't know any of the particulars quite yet. I've talked to Taika a little bit, and I like where it's headed. Chris and I have a really good time together, and we goof off and play when Tom Hiddleston is around. So it'll be a funny back and forth, essentially, with the director. He does that really well. It'll have that kind of anarchistic odd couple type thing going on. So, yeah, it seems like it's going to be fun. And it's probably the best way to go with both Thor and Hulk, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited about that one.
Yeah. It's good. I'll wait to see how that turns out in 2017, right? That's when
Yes.
isn't it? Yeah, Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, that is November of 2017. I believe that's the last... No, because of the changes that they did. I believe something else is before Infinity War Part 1. But yeah, it's one of the last movies before Infinity War.
Okay. All right, so move on to the next topic here. And that is there is a new Star Trek TV series works, I should say, over at CBS. That's interesting because I guess everybody's been waiting to see what happens with Star Trek, especially after J.J. Abrams went to Star Wars. After the second film, it kind of felt like everything just stopped after that, pretty much, right? Mm-hmm. I guess people were waiting on a third movie, and I don't know what's going on with that at the moment. But yeah, it's some new series coming. It's going to be supposedly premiering in January 2017, so just a few months after the 50th anniversary of the series. That's pretty crazy. 50th anniversary of the original Star Trek. Wow. That is a long, long time, but that's cool. I personally never really connected with Star Trek.
Yeah, me neither.
I was more of a Star Wars guy, and it was like, oh, Star Trek's more cerebral and all this stuff. Like, give me Star Wars. Like, give me the Force.
They're wrong.
Give me the Force. Don't give me none of this stuff. I still appreciate it though, as being a fan of science fiction and Spock and Captain Kirk as characters and science fiction history. I could still appreciate it, and I did like the J.J. Abrams reboot, which was definitely more Star Wars than Star Trek.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool that they're bringing this back. I'm interested to see if it's going to be like a reboot and they're going to use the older characters like Spock and Kirk and Uhura or if they're going to do a next generation type of thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's going to be it's interesting.
Yeah, it'll be the next generation.
The next generation. But yeah, it's interesting to see how this turns out. Being a fan of nerdy stuff, just wondering what they're gonna do with it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's pretty much all to say about that one. Next on the list here, we've got Saban has debunked the rumors about the Power Rangers names in the new movie and have confirmed that, yes, the original character names are remaining. So...
Nice.
Yeah, that is really cool. Though I'm they only list their first names, so I'm kind of wondering if they're going to stick to the last names as well.
Mm-hmm.
Andre the Black Nerd over on Black Nerd Comedy on YouTube pointed that out, where it's like, for the Yellow Ranger, calling her Trini, okay, that's fine, but she's not an Asian girl, so the last name wouldn't really fit for her.
Yeah.
So they've changed things up a lot.
Yeah, I don't think that matters too much, though, because to be honest, I don't remember the last names of the characters. I always use the first name for the original cast of Power Rangers.
Yeah,
it wasn't I remember the names Jason, Kimberly, Zach, Billy, Trini. They make sense. Tommy,
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember their last names. I don't think that's really important within
Mm-hmm.
the Power Rangers universe, right?
Yeah.
Um, but it's cool. I'm actually looking forward to see what they do with this movie. As being somebody who grew up with the Power Rangers in the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
in the original incarnation of that series, which is a phenomenon if you didn't grow up during that time period.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But it
And
was so awesome back in the day.
yep. So many Halloweens going out dressed as a Power Ranger. I can
Yeah,
remember that.
they made so much money off of that, and all the toys and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I still see like every now and then I'll see like a Megazord like at Toys R Us. I'm like, this is awesome. Like I just don't have no space to put it. But yeah, that's cool. I'm interested to see where they take the Power Rangers. Like we were talking about, there's been a lot of remakes and reboots in recent memory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they could go either way. They could be good, could be bad. They could be, just meh. Um, so we'll see with the Power Rangers. I'm interested to see what they do with them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's gonna be cool. And so our last little topic that we're going to talk about here this week is a rumor, and that's that the solo Batman movie may be based on a death in the family and Under the Red Hood.
Yeah, that's interesting if they're gonna go that route with Batman,
Mm-hmm.
um, and do the transformation of Robin essentially. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know if they're gonna do it or not, or if they're just gonna do their own spin. Like everybody was talking about The Dark Knight Returns with the latest movie, but what's his name? The director, Zack Snyder, has said that it's not a retelling of that story, but it's definitely influence
Yeah.
on the movie. It's like its own thing, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they're just going to take elements from those story arcs and put it into the film.
Yeah. I'm reading the article on comicbookmovie.com right now. Their quotation here. According to our sources, the basic plotline of Affleck's solo Batman film, or as they call it, solo Bat film, is that Jason Todd has returned from the grave as the Red Hood, working in the shadows to make people think he's Batman, while making Batman look like a criminal. At the same time, he leaves clues about his identity for Bruce/Batman to ultimately solve, leading to a confrontation that will involve Batman, Red Hood, and yes, the Joker, who will feature as a primary villain alongside Red Hood. The article goes on saying, that's not all. The movie will also apparently feature Dick Grayson as Nightwing, who will team up with Batman to take on the Red Hood and Joker. Expect a Nightwing reference or two in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, which may also feature a cameo from Todd. In terms of casting, Joe Blow has heard that Warner Bros. & Co. are searching for an unknown actor for the Red Hood role, and that the character's look will be derived from his comic book and Arkham Knight video game appearances. Spoiler. We'll have to take this as a rumor for now, but it does make sense given clues from the Batman v Superman trailer, the defaced Robin statue, and the mysterious "You Let Your Family Die" note that is sent to Bruce Wayne. So, interesting.
Now it does make sense in the context of those clips
Mm-hmm.
from the trailer. So is Jared Leto playing the Joker then?
Guess so.
I guess that's what they're leaning towards, because if Affleck's involved in the film, and he's, the Batman in Batman v Superman, Jared Leto again. I'm still really interested to see what Jared Leto does with the character.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've been hyping the crap out of this. Like he's like they're. I guess it's not like a direct quote, but they're saying that he is doing something different with the character, which I don't know what the fuck that means. That could mean anything. It's so ambiguous.
Mm-hmm.
Like you really don't know what that really means.
Yeah.
And we still haven't seen Suicide Squad yet. So I guess it depends maybe on the success of that film and his portrayal of the character, or if he's going to move over to the solo Batman film, or if they're going to be filming this soon, because I know they've wrapped on Batman v Superman a while ago. Um, the movie's pretty much just in
Post-production.
post-production at this point. And Suicide Squad has wrapped also, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
They're just in post-production also. They're holding these movies back till next year. Interesting to see that story being told in the movies. Good thing it's not a freaking Batman origin story. That's just just happy about that, because we've seen enough of that. Like,
Oh, have we ever?
at least they're trying to do something different. Personally, I wish they would do something more recent, like the Court of Owls storyline. I would crap myself if they did that on screen, but
Apparently they're going to do something like that for Gotham at some point, or introduce the Court of Owls.
that's what I was hearing that too. Yeah, we'll see if that comes to light, if that happens. But I don't think I'm gonna check out the show regardless. To be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this could be really cool. It could be the best way, I guess, to go with a solo Batman movie, to do it this way. Mm-hmm. Especially if they want to keep the dark and gritty tone that they want to go with for their universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you said, it'll work in that. Shoot, I'm lost for words right now. dark and gritty version of this DC universe with Batman v Superman. As definitely a dark story to be told.
Yep.
Kind of weird that they're doing this now after Arkham Knight, though. Mm-hmm. Especially when that's like its own interpretation of that storyline, with the Arkham Knight being, spoilers, like you said, the Red Hood. That's just weird. I don't know if they're being directly influenced by that. Like you quoted the thing that they're talking about being influenced by the Arkham Knight portrayal of Red Hood, but
Yep. And yeah, that's let's see here if we've got any other news that we can discuss. Just checking on comicbookmovie.com here. Once it loads up. Let's see here. Sons of Anarchy actor Tommy Flanagan joins Gotham as the Knife. Wow, that's a scary villain name. I don't even remember that character from the comics.
I don't remember what that is, to be honest. And that's next week on Gotham, the Fork.
Followed by the Spoon.
And then the Spork.
They merge together.
They fuse like in Dragon Ball Z. Fusion, ha!
Oh my god. So that would make the show more entertaining, that's for sure.
It would.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to do it for the topics to discuss. I don't really see anything else of really high note. One thing that did happen since we last recorded, Neil Blomkamp did confirm that Alien 5 is on hold due to Ridley Scott's Alien Paradise Lost. So that's a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to Neil Blomkamp's approach to Alien too.
We'll see what Scott does with it. Like I saw The Martian, that was really well done. Mm-hmm. It was a really Scott film, so he can still make really good movies. It's just sometimes it's hit or miss. Like I saw what was the one before that? Was it Gods and Kings? Was it like the one about Moses?
Yeah, Moses Origins.
Moses and Lego Dimensions. Just got me sidetracked. I think it was like Gods and Kings or something like that. Yeah, and now it's like really strange interpretation of
the Ten Commandments, essentially.
Yeah, it was a really Like there was some good stuff, there was some bad stuff, but anyway. Yeah, we'll see where the Alien franchise goes from here.
Hmm.
Because everybody wanted Prometheus to be, an Alien spin-off, and it was in a strange way, but
Yeah, it was, and it wasn't, it was, and it wasn't. Turns out it was, despite what Ridley Scott was saying that it wasn't.
mhm.
And now he's just pretty much going like, yeah, Prometheus 2, it's called Alien, Paradise Lost. It's yeah, it is related.
Game over, man. Game over.
Ugh. But yeah, a bit of a downer, that's for sure. But yeah, I don't really see anything else, and we have gone on for, I think, a pretty good length for this episode.
Mhm. Yeah,
Just
it's been a good show.
I'm just checking the last episode, see if we had any questions or comments. Oh, we actually did have 2 comments on the last episode. One from Aussie Legend, agreeing with James's director rant, saying agreed with the director rant. Good stuff. Yeah, James's rant on that was really good. And if you guys haven't heard it, I'd recommend going back to episode 10 and listening to that. And the other comment was from our very own Israel Pacheco, or NX Izzy, I guess. He said, good show, guys. I'm looking forward to Star Wars and Spectre. Spectre.
Yeah, that's actually out this week, so
I'm going to be
cool.
completely honest. I have no interest whatsoever.
Really, have you liked or watched any of the other James Bond movies?
I have seen them. I've seen most of them. I like the older stuff. I have seen all of Daniel Craig's work.
Yeah.
Casino Royale was okay. Quantum of Solace, I fell asleep in the theater. Not kidding, I did. That movie
Wow.
bored me to tears. What was the last one?
Skyfall.
Skyfall was okay. And
So
I don't know.
do you prefer like the more like campy?
I do. Yeah,
Like,
Pierce Brosnan stuff. Like
okay.
gadgets up the yin yang, just completely silly shit. I like
Uh-huh.
that kind of stuff. So yeah, and I don't like Daniel Craig as Bond at all. Like I find him like way too dry. He's had a couple of moments where I'm like, yeah, that's Bond. Like in the last movie where he was jumping the train cars, and he has that moment where he jumps onto one and he like fixes his cufflings on his
Mhm.
suit. Like, yeah, that was James Bond, but yeah, not a fan of him as Bond. I'm probably going to go see the Peanuts movie this evening instead of James Bond. I'm that
Yes,
1%.
you're that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check it out. I like him as Bond. And like I like all the different Bonds for different reasons. Like it's cool that they have like a pantheon of different actors who've played Bond
Hmm.
over the years, and I've seen I've seen all the Connery movies. I've seen some of the Roger Moore stuff. I've seen all of Pierce and Daniel Craig stuff. Who's the other gentleman who played Bond in between that? Timothy Dalton. I've seen one of his movies.
Hmm.
And then who was George Lazenby? He did like On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which is only one movie, so I've seen that. So I've seen most of the Bond movies, and they're all enjoyable. Like I see them as different takes on the same character. Like it doesn't bother me that much, but yeah, the old stuff is fun with like Connery.
Apparently Craig doesn't like playing Bond anymore, though.
Yeah, I've heard his rants on he just wants to be done with it. He was saying he'd rather kill himself or something ridiculous
Yeah.
like that. Besides,
Yeah. And if he did another one, he'd only be doing it for the money.
wait a second, we didn't talk about something that's really important.
Oh?
The Star Wars trailer.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We didn't have trailer talk.
Yeah, that's definitely something huge that's happened since the last recording.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you've already gotten your tickets. You're
Oh,
set
yeah.
to go for like
Yep.
a few time slots, right?
I am seeing it at, well, 10:15 p.m. my time on December 17th. Opening
Okay.
night.
Nice. I want to see it. It just all depends on my schedule, and especially since I work retail during the holiday seasons, I can't
Hmm.
really predict, if I'm going to have some sort of consistent schedule.
Right, yeah.
So
The
I,
funny,
I
the
haven't bought my tickets, but I do want to buy
Yeah.
them.
The funny thing is, like, my assistant manager who does the schedule already knows that I'm seeing Star Wars, knows how much I'm excited for it, because her husband apparently is the exact same way.
Oh, that's cool though.
So she knows that I'll need that day, well, that evening off.
It's cool.
Yep.
Oh,
But yeah, that trailer, hot fucking damn.
yeah, it's like I think we talked about this before that I didn't like it as much as the teaser.
Hmm.
I don't know because I guess I don't know. It's like weird. Like I know people are raving about it. Like I think it's a really good trailer.
Hmm.
Don't get me wrong, but it was something about that teaser. Like they didn't show a lot, but it just got me like really excited. So I guess I was just it didn't get me more excited because I was already really excited for
Yep.
it.
But the
So
thing is, even with that full trailer, they didn't really show much.
yeah, like there's
Like, we
stuff.
still have no idea what the fucking story is about at all.
Yeah, we don't. We still haven't seen Luke.
Hmm.
Um. So
We haven't
yeah,
seen C-3PO, aside from,
yeah,
like, some promotional footage. Or
that's
promotional
true.
images.
I don't know who else. Besides the main cast, I don't know if they got what's his name, the character who plays Lando Calrissian
Nope.
back.
He's not
He,
back for this one.
he's not in the movies. Okay, so but yeah, like we saw Leia there
Hmm.
for a brief sequence embracing Han Solo.
Oh, man, that
Um,
moment. That was the moment for me in this trailer where I
mhm,
started, like, tearing up a bit.
mhm. Yeah, there was some cool stuff and with the lightsabers and all that stuff. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think the way they're doing the music too, just in that trailer alone, like
Mhm.
the way it started off, where it's like, huh, this doesn't really seem like a Star Wars trailer,
Yeah.
and then you get the subtle slow downs, like that seems familiar, and then boom, like the beats hit, and you're
Yeah,
like,
it
oh,
the
oh,
moment that got me was when Kylo Ren is like using his powers to that one guy. All
Poe
right, that
Dameron.
like his head is I don't know, he's mind messing him or whatever. I don't know what to describe it, but you know the scene that I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
And then the music hits and you see the Millennium Falcon. That's when it got me. I was like, that's what you're talking about too, like the way the music builds up to that point and then it hits the Star Wars music and you see
yeah.
like the Millennium Falcon. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. The one thing that really got me too was where you see the Millennium Falcon being chased by the TIE fighters, and
Yeah.
you hear the voiceover from what's her name, Riley.
Yeah.
Yeah, her going like those stories from ages ago, and then it cuts to Han Solo, and he's like, "It's real. It's all real." It's like,
Yeah.
oh, like
It's all real, man.
especially for him to say that and go on to say, like, you hear his voiceover throughout the trailer going, the dark side, the Jedi, they're real. It's like, for a character that in the past movies, when we first saw him in episode 4, he didn't believe this shit at all. The mind messing was like, that's foolishness. What's a sword gonna do, like, against a good blaster? And now you see him here 30 years later, and he's the one, like, in that pretty much Obi-Wan Kenobi role, going, it's all real, it exists, these things actually did happen. It just sends chills down your spine. So yeah, that trailer, beautifully done.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's it for the footage that we've seen. I know personally I'm on blackout mode after this. I don't want to see a commercial, another trailer, nothing until I see the movie.
Yeah, I don't want to see it either. I just got sidetracked and found that Think Geek has a Han Solo fridge. I want this right now. This is awesome. It's got LEDs on it. It's
Oh man.
$150, but it holds like a bunch. It holds 18 cans of soda. This is awesome. Damn it. I don't know why I Googled Han Solo and this is one of the things that popped up. I want this now, crap. But yeah, I'm really excited for the movie. I definitely have to see it within the first like few days that
Yeah,
it's out.
you got to. The last thing I want to say about the trailer real quick is the final voiceover that we hear, and I believe it's from Leia herself, where you hear the voice going, "The Force is calling to you." Then you
Mhm.
get a little pause for music, and then as the logo's coming up, you just hear, "Just let it in." Where that moment, it gives since chills, makes me choke off of it. Where it's like, Star Wars is back. Just embrace it, love it.
Yeah, I can't wait till to be in that's where I want to go within the next few days because that's when the hardcore fans are going to be watching
Yep,
it. Just to have that experience.
yep.
I haven't had like a theater experience in a very long time where like the crowd is reacting and
Yeah,
like that type of like visceral theater experience. Even with Jurassic World, like I don't remember anybody like clapping or
hmm
laughing or that type of experience. I really don't
yeah,
remember the last time that happened.
hmm
Um,
yeah. Same here. I mean, if I have to think back, like I see pretty much all of the Marvel movies now opening night, like the very first
yeah,
showing. Even though for the last few didn't really get that. The last one that I can remember is going to the like 12:01 midnight showing of the first Avengers movie where everything came together for the very first time. Like that's the last time I remember having that very special moment, which is why I had to do this for Star Wars because this is even bigger than that, I want to say. Like this is a movie people have been waiting like 30 to 40 years for at this
yeah.
point.
I'm looking at this fridge, man. This fridge. This shit is awesome. I want it, man. This is so cool. I think Geek has the most random stuff. I think I might ask for this for Christmas because this thing is awesome. Just to put in some like little water bottles and some sodas to have in my room. That's another thing. Like the hype for this movie is like you were saying, it's tremendous. Like especially
Yep.
now that you see all the toys out there.
hmm
Battlefront is right around the corner.
Yep.
They've had Disney Infinity out a few months at this point. Um, it's gonna be it's gonna be nuts, man. I cannot wait for
Yep.
this movie, and I don't think we're gonna do like any like top movies until after we see this movie. The top
Yeah.
movies of the year. Like this is the last and final movie
Yep.
that it has to see. And this movie has not this movie, but this year has been like really, really good for movies.
It has, yeah.
Jurassic World, Mad Max, Straight
hmm
Outta Compton, like
Ex Machina, Ant-Man, Avengers, Age of Ultron.
it has been like a fantastic year for movies, and it is this movie's gonna make so much money. It's gonna make so much money because
That's the thing, like, even with pre-sales alone, they've made like $7 million so far.
like just think of like Jurassic World, like that made so much money, but man, like this is Star Wars. Like I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan,
hmm
a huge fan of the series. I love the movie Jurassic World, but even I gotta admit, like Jurassic Park doesn't hold a candle to Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars is Star Wars. Like
It's in a category all by itself.
this is gonna be freaking incredible. I can't wait, man. It's gonna be
hmm
awesome.
Yep. And and like I've heard a few people talk about this before. I can't remember on which podcast it was now, but looking at it, this is going to be the special one because we don't know what the story is or where the characters are going to go, what's happened to our characters within those
Yeah,
30 years. For episode 8, we're going to know which way the story's going, so
yeah,
it's
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 true.
not going to be as hyped. And the same thing with the spin-off movies like Rogue One. We know basically what's going to happen in that movie, and possibly for the Han Solo film as well. But for this one, this is the special one. This is the return.
Yeah, it's sort of like Phantom Menace, but I know you probably like what you bring up Phantom Menace.
Oh,
But to be honest, when that movie dropped, what was it, 1999, I want to
yep,
say, Phantom Menace came out. That's
yep.
how this is going to be. I don't think it's going to be like a disappointment like that. But
Hmm.
in terms of the hype and build up, like,
Yeah. But I think it's even more than that because even with episode 1, people knew what they were
oh, that's
going
true.
into.
That's true because it's the prequels. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
But now with this, like, they're not doing they're going to probably pick and choose from the extended universe stuff, but this is all new. We have no idea going into this what's going on.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
that's
They
what
they,
makes
they
it,
scrapped the extended
yeah,
universe pretty much.
yeah. So that's what makes this one that much more exciting because this is new for everybody.
Hmm. Yeah, that's gonna be really, man, it's gonna be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Everybody's force is going to be strong that night.
Man, I could see myself like I know we're going super overboard on this, but like just watching like when I was watching Jurassic World and the Star Wars trailer like played, like I got chills.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was it was electric. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can't just imagine watching watching this movie. I'm getting choked up now.
Mm-hmm.
Watching this movie when it actually drops and it's like the full experience. Like I know
Yep.
I'm gonna be balling in the theater. Like,
It's
just when that logo comes up, like
yeah.
the
I
the
was about to say.
the green Lucasfilm, and then the title sequence. Which have they confirmed if they're doing or not? Like
I
the
don't think they. I don't think they have
old
the
like Star Wars, and then it drops, and you
the
see
title scroll.
yeah, exactly. They have to do that.
Yep.
It's just Star Wars. Like that's something so iconic. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're both very excited for this.
We are, yeah. Oh. And just checking right now, the movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long, apparently.
Hmm.
So,
That's a good length.
yeah.
That's what she said.
And yeah, I'm just checking like the showings right now. It's sold out for the night of December 17th here.
Yeah.
And I think for the 18th as well. Some showings in the morning, but the 11 p.m. screening is basically entirely sold out for like 8 seats. The
Wow.
7 p.m. showing is sold out except for 4 seats. Yeah. I'm going to assume this translates right into Saturday as well. I'm just going to check
Yeah,
those right now.
this movie's gonna be packed.
Yeah, Saturday.
Everybody's gonna go see it.
Yeah, all the good seats are gone on Saturday. There's a fair few still opened up, but yeah, this is gonna do fucking gangbusters. I mean, fuck, the same person's probably gonna see this movie every single showing that weekend. Like, get on Monday morning. Oh yeah, did you see
Yeah.
Star Wars? Yeah, I saw it like 12 times.
Yeah. I definitely see myself seeing this. If it turns out to be great several times.
Yep. Yeah, this might be the next Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy for me, where I see it like 7 times. Be the only thing I talk about on this podcast for like a month and a half.
Mm. All right, dude. I think we can wrap it up there because
Yeah,
it's a good discussion.
indeed. Yeah, otherwise we're just gonna rant more about Star Wars. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's wrap things up. So why don't you take us away this week since you're the co-host?
Yeah. So yeah, let us know in the comment section below, guys. So any of your thoughts on any of these topics that we've discussed this week, any of the new TV series from Marvel, the merger between Godzilla and King Kong, some of the Star Wars news that we've been gushing over like the last 25 minutes about. But yeah, for Lord X, I'm Izzy, aka Israel Pacheco 89, and I don't know how to do an outro for this because usually on the other one I say glitched out. What does James usually do?
Just says about out of here.
Okay.
Roughly that, or the static screen is off the air.
Okay. We're going off the air later, guys.
Bye.